On the morning of June 28, 1914, a 19-year-old boy ate his last meal, tucked a pistol into his coat, and walked into a crowd. He would fire 2 shots. Those 2 shots would kill 10 million people. Not immediately, not directly, but through a chain of events so improbable, so dependent on accidents and wrong turns and pure catastrophic coincidence that historians still struggle to believe it actually happened. This is the story of the day the world ended, and how a series of impossible mistakes made it all possible. To understand June 28, 1914, you must first understand the world that existed before it. Europe in 1914 was a powder keg. 4 great empires, Austro-Hungarian, Ottoman, Russian, and German, were all simultaneously declining, expanding, and terrified of each other. 2 great alliance systems had divided the continent: the Triple Alliance of Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy on one side, the Triple Entente of France, Russia, and Britain on the other. Every major power was armed to the teeth. Every military had a plan. Every general was waiting for the signal. What nobody had agreed on was what that signal would be. They were about to find out. In the shadows of Belgrade, a secret society called the Black Hand had a plan. The Black Hand, officially named Union or Deaths, was a Serbian nationalist organization with one obsession: uniting all South Slavic peoples under Serbian leadership. And standing in their way was the Austro-Hungarian Empire, which controlled Bosnia and its largely Serbian population. Their target, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, who was planning to visit Sarajevo on June 28, the most sacred date in Serbian history. The anniversary of the Battle of Kosovo, a date chosen, it seemed, almost deliberately to provoke. The Black Hand recruited 6 assassins, young men, true believers. They were given bombs, pistols, and cyanide capsules to be swallowed after the deed was done. They took a train to Sarajevo. Franz Ferdinand arrived in Sarajevo that morning with his wife Sophie by his side. The motorcade was open-topped. The route had been published in the newspapers. The 6 assassins spread out along the Apple Key, the route the motorcade would take. Each one had a bomb. Each one had a pistol. The plan seemed foolproof. It immediately began to fall apart. The first assassin lost his nerve and did nothing as the cars passed. The second, Nedeljko Obrenović, threw his bomb. It hit the folded roof of Franz Ferdinand's car and bounced off. It exploded under the following vehicle, wounding several people. Wak Obrenović swallowed his cyanide and jumped into the river. The cyanide was old. It made him vomit. The river was 4 inches deep. He was dragged out, beaten by the crowd, and arrested, humiliated, alive. The Archduke's car sped away. The assassination had failed, or so it seemed. After the bomb attack, Franz Ferdinand insisted on visiting the wounded at the hospital. A new route was quickly arranged. Someone remembered to inform the lead driver. Nobody told the other drivers. The motorcade turned onto Franz Josef Street, the wrong street, the original route, the abandoned route. The lead car realized the mistake and stopped to turn around. It stopped directly in front of Schiller's Delicatessen. And standing outside Schiller's Delicatessen, having abandoned the assassination and stopped to buy a sandwich, was Gavrilo Princip, 19 years old, 5 feet 2 inches tall, a failed student with tuberculosis and a pistol. He looked up. The Archduke's car was stationary, 5 feet away. Princip raised his pistol and fired twice. The first shot struck Sophie in the abdomen. The second struck Franz Ferdinand in the jugular vein. Within the hour, both were dead. The world had changed. It just didn't know it yet. The assassination gave Austria-Hungary the excuse it had been looking for. For years, Austria-Hungary had wanted to crush Serbian nationalism. Now it had a martyr. Now it had a reason. After 3 weeks of deliberation, and after secretly securing Germany's unconditional support, what historians call the blank checks, Austria-Hungary delivered an ultimatum to Serbia. 10 demands, deliberately designed to be unacceptable. Serbia accepted 9 of them. Austria-Hungary declared war anyway, and then the machinery that Europe had so carefully built, the alliances, the mobilization plans, the military timetables, began to move. Russia mobilized to defend Serbia. Germany declared war on Russia. France was allied with Russia. Germany invaded Belgium to reach France. Britain was treaty-bound to defend Belgium. In 37 days, a regional dispute between Austria, Hungary, and Serbia had become a world war, involving 30 nations, killing 10 million soldiers, and 17 million people total. All of it set in motion by a wrong turn, a stale cyanide pill, and a sandwich. The Great War, what we now call World War I, lasted 4 years and 3 months. The Western Front became a 400-mile line of trenches where men lived in mud and rats and gas, dying for fields of a few hundred meters. The Ottoman Empire collapsed. The Austro-Hungarian Empire ceased to exist. The Russian Empire fell to revolution. The German Empire surrendered and was humiliated by the Treaty of Versailles. That humiliation planted the seeds of the next war. Gavrilo Princip was arrested, tried, and sentenced. He was too young for the death penalty under Austro-Hungarian law. He was sent to prison, where he died of tuberculosis in 1918. 4 years after the shots he fired, just months before the war he started finally ended. He never fully understood what he had done. Perhaps that is the most human part of the entire story. History is not made by great forces alone. It is made by moments, by accidents, by a driver who took the wrong turn, by a cyanide pill that didn't work, by a young man who stopped for a sandwich. The First World War, which reshaped every border on Earth, toppled 4 empires, and planted the seeds of everything that followed, was not inevitable. It was not the result of unstoppable historical forces. It was the result of a series of mistakes so improbable that if any single one had gone differently, 10 million people might have lived. That corner in Sarajevo still exists. The street is still there. The river is still there. And somewhere, on a quiet Tuesday, history is always balanced on the edge of a wrong turn. Pay attention.